Hello yogis, my name is April and welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio outdoors, and welcome to a new start, a restart, a new beginning, whatever it may be for you. Maybe it's a new day or a new job or a new dream or a new relationship or a new place of living. Whatever it is that is happening in your life, something new is beginning. It's a new beginning. So welcome to your new beginning. With a new start, a restart, or new beginning, you may be feeling uncertain, excited, curious, hopeful, nervous, scared. All of these things come with letting go of something that was before and moving into something slightly unknown and unrealized yet. But know that whatever it is you're moving toward, you have all the skills and the tools necessary to do your very best. You will do your very best, and it will flow out of love and passion and whatever you have in your dream for what is going to happen next in your life. So welcome to your new beginning. With that in mind, we really need to there's always a little bit of lingering energy from what was before and what existed before and what happened before, and some of that energy sort of hangs on. It sort of clings to us a little bit like stickiness, and so sometimes it feels good to energetically move that out of our bodies. So today we're going to do a little practice that helps move some of that energy out, but also helps us feel a little more spacious, a little more open, a little bit more ready to take on the world. So some heart openers, definitely some hip openers, sort of a full body flow, but really tapping into that energy of kind of letting go and opening ourselves up to what comes next. So all you need for this practice is your mat and you. You could, of course, have blocks or blankets to support yourself. If you want some padding for your knees, always have something nearby like a towel or a blanket for your knees in case you need to pad your knees, or a block in case the ground is just too far away, and sometimes the ground needs to come up to you, and that's okay too. So if you can be outside, be outside. If you can't, enjoy the view from here as well, and I will let you see what you can see and hear what you can hear out here in my backyard. So just to start, come into a seat where you are tucking your feet underneath you. If this is really hard, you can sit on a block and lift yourself up a little bit higher. If that's not possible still with your knees, take whatever seat makes most sense for you. Knees aligned with your hip bones, so you're going to take a little bit of space between your knees to give a little bit of room for your pelvis. Your toes will tuck slightly behind you and underneath. And just take a few moments with your hands facing up onto your lap. Maybe that means tucking them into one another and touching the thumbs together, softening your gaze, and just arriving to your mat today. Arriving. It's taken so much for you to get to this new beginning, to this start, to restart. Acknowledge with gratitude that pathway, the amount of effort that you have infused into it, maybe the challenges or the drama that came with it. You're here. You made it. Really breathing into that acknowledgement that you made it here. And so much of what you've done is finally manifested in this new beginning. Tapping into your breath, noticing where you are breathing most. Maybe it's in your chest because it's super exciting and scary. Maybe it's into your belly because you feel this sense of relief that all that has come before is over. And just start to take that diaphragmatic breath. So belly, chest, collarbones, expansion. And exhaling, letting everything soften back to the spine and to your back. Almost feeling your body expand outwards, both back, front, and to the sides. And then exhaling, everything moving back to that center point. If it makes more sense, you can always place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. And feel that through touch. Feel that sense of curiosity and hope for whatever is to come, arising and bubbling up within you. Inhaling deeply through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. Shaking your hands out. And then taking your fingertips and dropping them back behind you. And if you're in this bent kneed position where you're sitting on your feet, go ahead and dropping back and lifting your knees a little bit off the floor. Now, if that's too much, you can always keep your knees down, but we're just stretching the tops of the feet. All of our lower body meridians are all focused and begin or end in our feet. So we want to really stretch our feet. You also want to feel very grounded before you start something brand new and or a new beginning. Feel the earth beneath you really ground in through your feet. Rocking forward and then shifting over. We're going to flip our toes the other way. So tucking your toes underneath as much as you can. You can either keep your fingertips down or start to lift up. Take your hands onto your thighs and stretch the bottoms of your feet, the arches. This is where we take our first steps. Our feet on the ground. It's where we touch earth. This is where we contact. This is where we move forward. Giving a little tender, loving care to our feet. Maybe here, taking the arms up overhead, dropping that right hand back behind you, left fingertips to the right elbow and stretching it back. And then switching. Coming all the way down, flipping those toes, coming into tabletop position, all fours, and just tapping the toes on the floor. Bringing big toes together, knees wide. Start to shift back and press through your palms and shifting back into child's pose. Moving forward just a little bit and then shifting back. Forward again a little bit, and then shifting back and pressing through your fingertips, maybe coming up onto fingertips, cupcake fingers, and really pressing back, and then walking those hands out so that your fingertips are on the ground, but not your elbows or your forearms. Walking your hands a little bit over to the right here. Crossing that left hand on top of the right. Feeling that left hip drift away from your fingertips. Nice stretch on the left side body. Room to breathe. Remember, we're looking for spaciousness. And then walking your hands over to the other side, just on the other side of the mat. Maybe right hand on top of left. And then back to center, coming on to all fours. Hips on top of knees, shoulders on top of wrists. And we're just going to come into our first cow tilt. So dropping the belly down, pulling the belly button toward the ground. And then exhaling and arching and rounding, lifting away, tucking chin to chest. 3 more. Inhaling, cow tilt, belly down. Exhaling, cat arch. Inhale, cow tilt. And exhale, arch. Last one, just warming up the shoulders and the spine. Coming back to center, shifting your hips back just a little bit and walk your hands forward. Come into a puppy pose. Once again, palms on the ground, forearms off the floor. Drop the chest down toward the ground. Maybe you come into where your chin is touching down. Maybe you're not quite there and you're just hovering above or your forehead's to the floor. This is a lot for your back. You can engage your core just a little bit and lengthen out the back instead of dropping it down. And then inhaling, coming back up. Palms underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers, flip your toes, lift your knees and hover for just a couple of breaths here. Starting to warm up the core, wake everything up. This is where our will comes from, our core, our solar plexus chakra. We're going to infuse a little will into our new beginning. And then exhale, start to lift your hips back, come back into downward facing dog. And starting to bend one knee and then the other. Walking your dog out. Maybe shaking your hips side to side if it's your first down dog of the day. I like to rotate my heels toward the center line and just stretch out to my calves and my ankles. Get a little opening. And then bending your knees deeply, shift your hips back as far as you can, and then start to straighten your legs out. Rock forward into plank. Here, drop down to your knees, come all the way down to the ground. Inhale, up and back, cobra. Exhale, down to the ground. Inhale, back to your kneeling plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Walking your big toes side by side, you're going to inhale, lift your right leg up. Open up that hip. Bend the knee, drop the toes behind you. Maybe shake them out a little bit. And then exhale, sweep that right leg all the way up toward the front, knee tucked into your chest. And then exhale it back up to down dog. One-legged down dog, or what we call three-legged down dog. And then drop that right foot down. We're going to switch sides. Left leg up, bend the knee, open up the hip. Maybe shake it out a little bit. And then start to shift forward, pull that knee into your chest. Hug it in. And exhale back to that three-legged down dog. Drop those toes down. Bend your knees, look up at your hands, start to hop or walk up to the top of your mat. Toes spaced apart as comfortably as you want to. Inhale, lift up, hands to shins or thighs or the ground. Exhale, soften your knees and fold forward. Inhale, soft knees, reach all the way up to the top. Hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Hands alongside your hips. Rolling your shoulders back, maybe taking a few shoulder rolls here. Rolling the shoulders back and lifting them up towards your ears. And then the other way, forwards. And then inhaling, reaching up. Come up onto your toes just a little bit. Reach up through your fingertips. And then exhale into chair pose. We call this rocking chair, so you're staying on your toes. If that's not possible, you can always drop your heels down. And then drop your heels down. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fingertips down. Step that right leg back. Ground the heel. Come up into your warrior one. So maybe it feels better to turn that back foot in just a little bit more and walk your feet a little wider to give space for your hips to move into warrior one. Exhale, hands around behind you. Interlace your fingers, roll the shoulders back. Pull those hands down toward the ground and back away from you and start to come into your humble warrior. Folding forward, lifting those shoulders up, keeping your spine long, your head looking out past your toes. Don't forget to breathe. Nice deep inhales and exhales. And then inhaling all the way back up. Warrior one. Start to turn those right toes in, lift that heel and come into your crescent lunge, your high lunge. Bend your back knee just a little bit and then straighten it up. Little bend, little straighten. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Step that right foot forward, lift it up into a little standing splits. We're going to add on to this. Drop the toes down, touch the ground, lift back up. Touch down, lift back up. Down, lift back up. And then drop those right foot next to the left foot. Lift up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time taking that left leg back. Finding your warrior one here, making any adjustments. Walking the feet wider, turning that back toes in a little bit more. Every body is different. Every hip is different. You need to make space however it makes sense for you. Nice deep breaths. So avoid putting those shoulders right up to the ear. Just kind of pull them down and reach your hands up. And exhale those hands around behind you. Interlace the fingers once again. Humble warrior, starting to fold over that front leg. And releasing, come all the way back up to warrior one. Arms up overhead. Turn that back heel in, come into your high lunge. Just start to bend your knee a little bit, finding a little more opening in the front left hip. And after you've done about 3 of those, come back to center, hands down, step forward, lift that left leg up, standing splits, and then drop the toes down, touch down, lift up, touch down, lift up, touch down, lift up, and then drop that left foot next to right. Come up halfway, inhaling. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the top. Little back bend at the top. Exhale, hands down by your side. Inhaling, coming back up onto your toes. Maybe coming up a little bit taller, a little bit higher. And then exhaling back into that rocking chair. This requires you to really engage your core and pull everything to the center. Drop the heels, exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fingertips down, step that left leg back. Drop your left knee. Take both hands to the inside of your right foot and drop that right knee out to the side, coming onto the outer edge of your right foot. Now here you have some choices. You can stay right here, you can come down a little bit lower onto your forearms, or you can lift that back leg, flip the toes, and stretch that back leg out a little bit more. Three deep breaths. Maybe even tapping into Ujjayi breathing or victorious breath, where you make a little sound at the back of your throat by cutting off that epiglottis a little bit. Sounding like you're fogging up a mirror or a window on your inhale and exhale. Wherever you are, drop that back knee. Take your foot flat, walk it toward the center, come up into your low lunge. Reach up nice and tall. And then reach for that left wrist with that right hand and pull over to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale, hands down, lift your back knee, palms toward the front, step back into your downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Moving however you want or being still. And then rocking forward into your plank. So choices here, you can come down to your knees or you can stay in your full plank. You can rock forward a little bit and come all the way down to the floor, nice and slow. Walk your fingertips out to the side, elbows nice and high, little Spider-Man fingers. Inhale, lift up and back, cobra. Exhale down like a little wave. Inhale, look over that right shoulder. And exhale down. Inhale over your left shoulder. And exhale down. And right back up the center again. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Palms underneath your shoulders. Shift back into child's pose. Take a few breaths here with your knees a little bit closer together. Stretching a different area of the body. And then inhaling, rocking onto all fours, shifting back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees deeply, look up at your hands, hop or walk up to the top of your mat. Come up halfway and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up, little back bend. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fingertips down, step that right leg back this time. Drop the knee, take both hands to the inside of your left foot, walk that left foot out to the side, roll to the outside edge if that's possible for you. Drop that left knee out to the side, palms flat or down to your forearms, or you can flip your toes and lift up that right knee off the ground. Back to that victorious breath. A new beginning is a victory. And gently, wherever you are, drop that back knee down, walk that left foot toward the center again, come into your low lunge, reach up overhead, stretch nice and tall. And then left hand reaches for that right wrist and pulls over to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands down. Lift that back knee, palms flat, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Choices here, you can take a kneeling side plank, which would be dropping the knee and taking that right foot out to the side, or you can just start to walk that right hand a little closer toward the center line, roll to the outside edge of your right foot and come into side plank. And then come back onto all palms, or switch to the other side. Whatever version works for you, dropping the knee, or walking that left hand a little bit closer toward the center line, coming into your side plank. And then dropping the hand back down. Coming down onto your knees and coming all the way down to the ground. So keeping those hands tucked right alongside your chest, elbows up toward the back. Inhale, lift the feet and the upper body. Come into little baby locust here. Using the hands to give a little grounding. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, back up again. This time maybe taking your hands alongside your hips, palms facing in, thumbs down. Roll those shoulders back, lift a little higher. And then relax everything down, stacking your hands on top of one another, your head on the back of your hands. You're taking your hands underneath your chest, lifting all the way back up, shifting back into child's pose. Inhaling, rocking forward, and coming into a seat. Taking that right leg out in front of you. Take your left foot and cross it over. Lift up and pull that knee into your chest. And then release. Switching legs. Right leg, foot goes over to the side. Pull that knee into your chest, upright as much as you can. Flexing your left toes. Nice big stretch for the lower back, the glutes, the outer hip. And releasing. Bring that right foot to the inside of your left leg, reaching back behind you, a little twist here. Really taking your hand to the outside and pressing into that right knee and twisting as much as you can. And then exhaling back to center and folding forward. Coming back to center, taking that leg out, switching legs, left foot to the inner thigh, starting to twist toward the left. Unwinding and folding over that right leg. Inhaling, coming back up. Take your feet out in front of you. Hands reach out in front of you as well. Feet flat to the floor, knees together, and start to lean back and lift those feet up into boat pose. Now, if this is a lot for you, you can always take your hands behind your knees and gently hold them. Or if you want more, stretch the legs out. Take the arms up straight over your head. And then bring those knees into your chest, hug them in. And sit up nice and tall as we hug them in. Feeling all that old energy drifting off. And then gently lowering yourself all the way down to the floor. Maybe here again, hugging one knee into your chest at a time, squeezing it in. And then whatever Shavasana feels good for you. Maybe it feels good to walk your feet wide and drop your knees together, hands to your belly and your heart. Or maybe it feels good to stretch all the way out, heels toward the corners of your mat. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath, hands alongside your mat. Give yourself permission to relax and let go. Let go of any tension or lingering energy or memories. You are here, you're at your new beginning. It is all starting. It is fresh, it is hopeful, it is a little scary, yes. But you've done so much work to get here, and you are here. You've made it. A fresh start. Notice your breath again. Really bringing yourself back to that 3-part diaphragmatic breath. Belly, chest, collarbones. Exhaling, collarbones, chest, belly. Feeling that fresh oxygen, that breath, inspiring you to whatever is to come next. And your exhale, releasing whatever is left of what was before. On your next inhale, stretch your toes out, stretch your fingertips out, lengthen out through your spine. Exhale, bring your knees to your chest, give them a squeeze, bring your nose to your knees, knees to your nose. And then exhale, roll over to your right side and very slowly make your way up to whatever seat makes sense for you. Once again, taking a moment to recognize that you are here and it took so much to get here and you are done with all that. It's a brand new start or a restart or a brand new beginning, whatever it may be for you. Take your hands together at heart center, sharing one Om together, inhaling deeply. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Welcome to your new beginning. I wish you the best of luck and the best of skill, because I know you have everything you need to get you wherever you want to go. And I wish you all the best as you start this new year, new endeavor, new experience. And I hope that you will let me be with you along this pathway and join me on the mat. Have a great week.